land development. Oh my. I don't know if I say or do anything. Do I?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. We received a review, from Bankson. And I have that here, and I was gonna give an update.
That'd be great.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, just for everybody's background here, previously Susie had prepared and presented a subdivision plan to the township, which was discussed at your last meeting. I was not here for that meeting. Trent was here in my place. Her subdivision was to combine the two parcels that she owns into one, so that all of her land is on one parcel, and her building and her parking would be on one common parcel. So that subdivision was reviewed and recommended for approval by our office. The planning commission has passed that on to the supervisors, and it was subsequently approved in front of the board of supervisors. So the subdivision for the Elrama Tavern is complete now, which leaves us with the land development component. And not to get into all the details, but land development for this parcel was needed when the location of the building changed. Originally, the concept was rebuild the building on the foundation that remained after the fire, and then at some point during conversations with the zoning hearing board and with the previous zoning officer for the township, that concept changed, and Ms. Grimm's building location is now no longer utilizing the existing foundation. Well, the issue with that is she's no longer a non-conforming structure per the township's ordinances. So with that in mind, we had some conversations with Ms. Grimm in August and September. She has now retroactively filed a land development plan application with the township, despite the fact that her building is 95% finished at this point. And the land development is allowing the township now to review aspects of her construction, like the parking and the grading and the stormwater management, and certain things that should have taken place prior to Ms. Grimm getting a building permit. Given what has transpired here, some things happened out of order. So Ms. Grimm made her application. We took a look at it. We had a handful of comments here for her surveyor and for her architect. I spoke with John, I think it was last week or the week before. I wrote down October 11th as the date that I talked to him. We went over a few of the comments together. John, her architect, and I spoke about a couple of these items, and he indicated that he would be following up with me. I haven't really heard anything from him since then, but it sounds like Susie's going to maybe give us an update here. So hopefully that allows the planning commission and the audience here to have a little background as to where we stand with this and where we're going with this moving forward. So, do you have anything to add to that, Tim?
I do not. Well, the zoning hearing board did amend their approval for the new location of the building last week at the zoning hearing board.
So what's left to do from her perspective, besides the?
We had a couple questions on stormwater. Mr. Kadravy is her architect, and we spoke about number of parking spaces and landscaping and things like that. He indicated that he would be giving us a letter that talked about how some of these comments were going to be addressed here. So, yeah, I mean, I think you all have copies of the review letter that we wrote on October 8th, right? So, there are some questions that are more straightforward, some are a little more complicated, but that's kind of a summary of where things are with Susie's development. And the building is nearing completion, right, at this point?
Yes. just to give an update, I mean, for someone like me, this is overwhelming, like, it's an awful lot. We do have a landscaping plan, and we did landscape, it has been planted. And John will be providing that shortly, I spoke with him today.
Okay.
We have met with, Tom Fadella and his sidekick Ben over there at PennDOT.
Yeah,
We've been having, a lot of conversation with them, and they came out to the site 2 times. They accepted the distances, for the entry, they did the distance
the
site.
site distance, yeah.
Yes, and, they've also agreed to accept the curb cuts as they are.
Okay,
They don't think we need anything further. But we are still working with them, there's still paperwork and things that need to be done with them.
so they're okay with the site distance and they're okay with your access points, it
Yes.
sounds like.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's encouraging. That's
Yes, that actually was wonderful. We went to their office in 84 and then they said, no, we'll just go out there, and it was like, perfect. We are attempting to negotiate a little bit more parking through a buy, lease, or an agreement with the fire hall, with the Elrama Fire Hall on the land that is grass, not their paved parking, but like the grassy area, to try to get a little bit more parking there, and I go to their meeting in the beginning of November to work on that. Our lighting plan is with our landscape plan, so that is what will be coming. And the light poles have been ordered. It is not so much light that it is obstructing, like, or, intrusive to the neighbors, but it is, safety for the parking lot. There's 2 poles.
Grading permit was submitted.
Yes, the grading permit was submitted. We had good luck with the signage. The signage plan, I think that is called from the zoning meeting the other day. And the sewage module, the sanitary sewage facilities planning module, I think was signed and forwarded to the DEP on 9/30. And that's the updates that I have. Now, I also have my surveyor, Rich Terrett, who's been working on this, but
Yeah.
I do not have an update for him for today, I guess I just wanted to let you guys know that we are diligently working on all of this, and trying to, be quick on our part so that, we can get opened.
So there were I understand there were 2 lots there before, correct?
Yeah.
So basically, both lots have sewage tap, correct?
Correct. One was the tavern, the original tavern was burned down, and the other, correct me if I'm wrong, Susie, was residential.
That is correct.
Alright, so since she's done this new land development, I don't see her need to apply for another tap.
She does not, no. Well, Susie's consultants have prepared a planning module, requesting an exemption for a planning module from DEP because of the fact that she's building a new building, which is larger than her original building. However, with the reduction of the house in the equation, she's on her parcels that have been combined, she's contributing less flow now to the Elrama collection system than she did before.
But she doesn't have to pay for a new tap.
I do not believe she needs to pay
Okay,
a
then
tap
I don't
fee.
see any, because those tap fees were initially put in to help pay for the construction of the sewage system.
Correct.
That was the local share of the township.
Both of those parcels have presumably already
So
paid a
there's
tap
no
fee.
need for pay a new tap fee.
I agree with that, yes.
Alright, and that's maybe we should make a motion to recommend that to the township. But then you have 2 parcels, and basically, she should be paying only 1 user rate you have 1 building. She should be paying 1 user rate for that building, okay? So I just wanna make sure we're on the same page about that tap situation. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did have a question for your surveyor about the stormwater. There were 2 drawings from Tarrant, one showed it in one place and one showed it in the other, so we're just asking him to clarify which one is the correct.
Okay. Yeah, he is not here and I did not, but Maddie's taking my notes.
Yeah. It's on the list here. It's
Okay.
general comment number 1. Some of these are, things, developers agreement, final inspection, stormwater O&M agreement, those are all typical, things we can cover after approval. One question I did have also, do you know, is your construction area, are you greater than 1 acre or less than 1 acre? I see on the grading permit it says 0.76.
0.76, yeah.
In that case, there would be no need for a NPDES permit from Washington County Conservation District, as it's not in excess of 1 acre. So that's just a point of clarity. That was a question that we had. How much are they disturbed?
So outside, what action do we need tonight for her situation?
Well, ultimately, she will need land development approval to finalize this process. So, like I say, we have some questions about the stormwater still, which would be my biggest remaining items, I believe. I think her architect, it sounds like, is making a lot of progress on this list here, so
I mean, I don't know if it's achievable, and I don't mean to interrupt, but if it is at all achievable that we could, keep working on this, is it possible that in November we could come forward with everything that we have? And then when we vote, we could be ready, and I could be ready to be opened in November?
Yeah.
I mean, is that a possibility?
Yeah.
I think, when you first came to I remember you first came to the township meeting about your serious situation. I think the township wanted to help you as much as possible.
absolutely.
So I don't think that's an issue with the township, at least with this board or the township.
Right.
So whatever you need to do, I mean, I guess, the township's here to help you out, from my perspective.
Thank you.
So besides making a motion not, that you not pay for an additional tap fee, which I kept hearing that was one of the issues.
Sewage was a question.
Well, I understand, but I was the one that was here when that system was built, because I know everything about it, because I was the one that did the financing, and knew everything about the system. Those tap fees were the local share at that point in time. There's no need for her, since she's already she or someone paid for those taps, so no need to pay it again. What else other issues does she have? Because it's already October 21st.
Yeah,
With her discharge of sewage, is it because that facility was set up down there for so many taps? Will it free up an additional tap?
Don't free up an additional tap for somebody else in the future. So basically, whoever had that property, I think you've had the property since, when did you get to buy the property?
19 years ago. I got the second property 2 years ago.
All right, so basically, she'll free up a tap if they have another tap somewhere else.
Right, so it's beneficial to the community as well.
Correct.
That aspect.
So what can we do so she can start? I mean, can we make a motion to recommend approval subject to the following conditions?
yeah, so my biggest concerns with this, I'd like to see a formal response from her surveyor and her architect that address our concerns here. My biggest ones on this list are the PennDOT situation with getting an HOP, which it sounds like she's on top of. My other big concern is stormwater. Like I said earlier, 2 of her drawings show her stormwater BMP in 2 different locations. So we need to know which one's correct and verify that it's adequate. That's a large concern. These other items, I think a lot of these Susie's already made great progress on, or they're more procedural in nature. So things like these agreements that need to happen, if she needs an approved DNS plan from Washington County Conservation District, that should be obtained, those sorts of things. But I'm okay making a recommendation that you consider approving this tonight, contingent upon her satisfying these list of items in our recommendation.
So does the planning commission have any further questions of Ms. Graham or Mr. TJ?
I have a question, because TJ, you recommended we table it tonight.
Yeah,
Because of all your
our
concerns,
letter recommends tabling it.
yes, so.
However, I think, you know, before talking with Ms. Grimm, grading was a question, PennDOT was a question. There's a number of
The number
things here,
checked
so
up some of those off the
some of
list.
these are either checked off now or sounds like they're in good progress,
So basically, based upon that information you received after you crafted the letter,
Mhm.
you recommend approval, subject. Here's the way I would craft the motion. A motion to recommend approval
contingent upon.
of the Elrama Tavern land development, subject to the following conditions. One, securing an HOP from PennDOT for the site. Two, comply with any and all comments to the satisfaction of the township engineer. And that includes stormwaters in your letter of October 8th, correct?
Yeah, stormwater and necessary
So
permitting
those-
for the project.
So those are a part of that letter, so those are the first two conditions.
Mhm.
Any other conditions she needs to do? Those are the only two I can think of. that you
Not on
mentioned.
my end, my comments are covered in this letter, so
Okay.
she satisfies or she addresses the comments, I have nothing further.
And the third, and item number 3 would be that, Ms. Grimm, whatever corporation's name, shall not be responsible for the payment of any further sewage, tap fees for said property. That'd be the third item. Anything else? Harlan, how do you think about that?
Sounds appropriate to me.
And that way, if you comply with what he does, and this motion is approved, and the township approves it, that means you could start, I know the holidays would probably be the biggest time for business,
Yes,
okay? But that's, if we pass this in the township, you're gonna have to make sure that you comply with what he needs to get done, okay?
yes, I understand completely, thank you.
But what that would do is save a month's worth of
So
time.
that's right, because otherwise you could have to come back here again and waste another month.
Yeah, that was a big concern, so I didn't expect this evening, and I appreciate it.
Okay.
We pointed out, like I said, we did a diligent review of the drawings, we pointed out a number of items, and I think, you know, speaking for our office, I can't speak for Tammy, but speaking for our office, we're comfortable recommending approval if these things are satisfied.
So, but again, we have 3 items.
Yep.
HOP, receipt of an HOP.
Mhm.
2, compliance with your October 8th letter, the terms and conditions.
Correct.
And 3, basically, that she doesn't pay any further tap fees for the said property. Those are the 3 items. Okay?
Just a question.
Sure.
Not the are the 2 combined lots an acre?
No,
I don't know that, I'd have to look at the subdivision plan,
Well, I mean,
Enough to
that
have
would,
here.
take care of one item for sure, I would believe.
yeah, I'm not, and Susie confirmed this, but her grading permit application says 0.76 acres, so, of area being disturbed, description of the property, so
Alright,
I think she's under an acre, which would exempt her from
Right.
needing the state permit.
Which is good, right, okay, sounds good.
She's over 5,000 square feet of earth disturbance, so she's by law required to have an approved soil erosion and sedimentation control plan. And she'll need to get a permit for her discharge of her stormwater to that stream. So those are things that would happen, but, third-party permitting is,
But if you have any questions, what he's gonna tell you, you can always call TJ, correct?
yes, yes.
Do you want me to read it back, or?
So is a motion to recommend approval.
Motion to approve the.
Motion to recommend for approval to the Township Board of Supervisors, the Elrama Tavern land development, subject to the following 3 conditions, following 3 items. 1, she obtains an HOP from PennDOT. 2, she applies with the comments set forth in the October 8th letter from the township engineer. And the final one is that she be not, that Ms. Graham is not to pay any further tap fees for said properties. Got it?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.